To be honest, I couldn't really tell you. It's hard. I can tell you my favorite games. Hold on. I have a picture somewhere. Okay. Here you go. This would be considered my favorite games of all time. I think they're in order too. Metal Gear Solid 3, number 1. Resident Evil 3, Nemesis, number 2. Persona 3, number 3. Final Fantasy 11, number 4. Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. It's the second game, not the third game, breaking the cycle. Tekken 3, assuming the cycle. Yeah. Fallout 3, Batman Arkham City. I know, 3. I know. I can't get away from the number 3. Batman Arkham City, Yakuza 0, Final Fantasy 8, Nioh 2, Halo Reach, Dino Crisis 2, Metal Gear Solid 2. That's a choice. Before I played Final Fantasy 11, it's my favorite offline Final Fantasy game. That or 10. It's a toss-up. Yeah, Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts, favorite Kingdom Heart game. AI and Somnium Files 1. God of War 3. Mortal Kombat Deceptions, my favorite Mortal Kombat game. Kingdom Hearts 1. 999, the very first game. I really liked it. Danganronpa 1. Metal Gear Solid 1. Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore, Ninja Gaiden 2, and Sonic Adventure 2. Was this 50? This is 5, 10, 15. Yeah, top 25. 10 is popular. 8 is always at the bottom of the tier list. Their tastes is so. Now, I've always liked 8, so. I always like 10 too, though. I can't put neither one of them over 11 because 11's my most played game of all time with like 23,000 hours in the game. Like, not even exaggerating. If I go boot up my account now, it's kind of this. I probably played that game for like at least a third of my life, if not more. And I'm contemplating going back to it because my brother won't shut up about the game. Every time I go to visit him, he's like, "Oh, hey, I've never heard of the 5th on." Wait, what do you mean the 5th one? What do you mean? Nice spread. This was actually kind of hard, to be honest. Thank you. Virtue's Last Reward. Oh, this one? It's a visual novel game. 999 is the first game. It was, you probably wouldn't hear about it. It was on the Nintendo DS. So if you didn't play a Nintendo DS, you probably wouldn't have heard of it. It got ported to PC eventually. Both of them did. Part of like a pack, actually. This is the sequel. It's the second Zero Escape game. Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward. And then the third one is I like the first one. The third one is kind of like hit or miss depending on the person you ask. So it's a escape room visual novel game. I really like it. Thought it was a lot of fun. The AI and Somnium Files game we played was actually inspired by them. It had a lot of their sound effects in the game. Metal Gear Solid 3, I actually think personally, okay, look, we all got our own opinions, all right? So if my opinion differs from yours or anyone else's, word salad. I actually believe Metal Gear Solid 2 is the best Metal Gear Solid game ever made, but I like 3 the most, if that makes any sense. But, I just, James Bond, it's great. But I'm incredibly biased. I like Big Boss a lot. And I just like the whole idea of the game, really, in the jungle and all that stuff, and CQC slamming people is fun and all that jazz. It's stupid. It has a lot of dumb moments. It's great. Resident Evil 3, I'm well aware that people like Resident Evil 2 more than this, but I have always liked this game more. I thought Nemesis is so cool. And back when I went to go play the Tyrant, against the Tyrant in 2, I was like, holy shit, this dude sucks. Because I was so used to playing 3. So I was a Resident Evil 2 hater forever. But I've come to realize how stupid that was. But I really like Resident Evil 3 a lot. It's just cool to me. I like how Nemesis can chase you around the entire city. For the most part, he can chase you all over the place. It has a lot of replay value. It's RNG the game, so each playthrough will feel kind of different. There's a lot of paths you can take in the game, a lot of possibilities. I like Jill Valentine. She's a favorite character in the series, so playing against her. And I just thought it was great. Thought it was a really fun game. You probably see why I'm massively disappointed with the remake, because it's dog shit by comparison. But if they would have not rushed it out, trying to capitalize on Resident Evil 2 remake success and gave it proper time, it would have been a phenomenal video game. But we got what we got. Persona 3, funny, this was actually my second or third Persona game. I played Persona 5 first, and then I played Royal second. Persona 5 Royal. I was actually intimidated to play this game because I watched someone play a little bit of it on stream. I was like half paying attention, and that they were getting their ass kicked. And then everybody has told me that this game is like brutal In FES, they added hard mode, and then apparently it's like brutal. This is one of the rare games that I did not play on hard mode. I played on normal, and it was still fucking hard, dude. We have the clip where I died to the final boss. Like, I had to do the final boss 3 times in this game. And we have the one clip here where I was fighting him for an hour and 40 minutes, and he fucking charms one of my teammates and full heals his ass. He has like 23 stages or some shit like that. And he fucking full health his ass when he was down to like 10% health. I was fucking furious, dude. But looking back on it, I think that experience is amazing because I'll never forget it. I was so mad. But it was great. I thought the game was fantastic. I didn't think I was going to like it because I came from the modern Persona game and I went to go play the older Persona game. So I thought I was going to have a hard time going backwards. Not at all, really. I thought it was fine. I know there's some inconveniences that are kind of annoying, especially with like the monster fusion stuff, but the actual game and like the atmosphere of the game and the characters, I like the cast. It's my favorite cast of a Persona game. I like the story. I like the Dark Hour. I like people don't like the Mementos or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called. They don't like it because it's just an endless tower. It didn't bother me. I don't really care for the palaces all that well in like Persona 5. I don't hate them, but I don't mind the way they do it here too. I think it's fun. So I just like the game a lot. It's easily my favorite game. You know, now that I think about it, I don't know. I always go back and forth if whether I should add SMT5 on this list too, because out of all the games I've played from Atlas, I would say that has probably still been my favorite game I played gameplay-wise from them, SMT5. I really liked it a lot. It was the one that really hooked me gameplay-wise out of all of them. And it's why I probably wouldn't have taken Metaphor as serious as I did gameplay-wise if had I not played SMT5. I got to play Vengeance sometime, but I really like Persona 3, but there hasn't really been a Persona game I played that I dislike, really. Final Fantasy XI is the first MMO Final Fantasy that people think is shut down. Like I said earlier, I have 22,000 hours in this game. I was an early adopter. I really liked the game. I played it practically everywhere. I was like one of the first people to do the fishing stuff in the game, too. I have one of the first legendary fishing rods in the entire game. I was dead-ass addicted to fishing. But I actually really pride myself on the Puppet Master stuff because Puppet Master has actually come a long way now, and it's actually a useful job. Back when I played it, it was dog shit. It was really bad. But like me, I like to take things that suck and try to make them better. So I went into the job knowing it sucked. And in this game, it's not like 14. In this game, not everything is useful. So in 14, they try to make everything useful so no one's alienated. This game alienates everybody to fucking hell and back again. So I chose hard mode because it was just being able to do shit in the game as a Puppet Master was fucking hard. Nobody would want to take you anywhere, and you had to constantly prove to people to get past the perception that the job was useless. So that was a very fun time for me. And then Monk and all that stuff and everything else in the game's a lot of fun, and I just played it for a really, really long time. It still runs to this day, and I still never made all 5 or 6 legendary hand-to-hand weapons. I'm actually 3 out of the 6. I'd actually want to do that someday. VR, I'm going to talk about these both at the same time. So this is the sequel to 999. It's not called 999, though. They're both part of the same game. You definitely want to play the first one before the second one, though. They're escape room games. They do have similar traits to AI and Somnium Files here. It's the game that came out after this. It's from the same director. These games are hard as fuck if you do not like thinking. They're rough. But I thought that trying to figure out what the hell was going on storyline-wise, I always appreciate when I can't figure out what's going on. Because even back then, that was like almost 10 years ago. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was stumped. And I appreciate that because stories are so easy to figure out nowadays. You kind of know what's happening before you even play it. So this kept me it kept me hooked, and the branching like timelines and all that stuff, trying to figure out like who the bad guy was, why they were evil and all that stuff. It's like a murder mystery game in a way too. Like people are dying and you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on and who is killing all these people and why. It didn't get old. I thought it was really enjoyable. Also, was like one of the contributing factors to me not being a bigot towards visual novels, because I was a huge bigot towards that genre. I never considered them. Mainly Doki Doki did that, but then I went to go play Zero Escape afterwards, and I'm glad I did because it is amazing franchise to me. It's kind of sad that he won't go back to it because technically after the third game they could make another game. They never actually solved the mystery of the story. Really like it though. Tekken 3 is the game that started my love for fighting games. I would say it's an abysmal video game if you actually go back and play it nowadays. It sucks. But at the time, it was amazing. Tekken Tag Tournament 1 is honestly the better game, but Tekken 3 actually did what Soul Calibur 5 tried to do and failed at. They literally replaced over half their roster with new characters. You could say it came at a time where people didn't care about fighting games as much, but Tekken 2 was a pretty good success. Tekken 1 was actually a pretty good success too. But Tekken 3 was like known as like one of the PlayStation games. The fact that they were able to replace over half of their roster and make people enjoy the game, that is not something you can do nowadays. People are so soaked in their tribalism that if you don't have certain characters, they just automatically hate the game. That's what happened to Soul Calibur 5, unfortunately. They tried to do the same thing. But Tekken 3 it was great. It was a fun game. I thought it was really cool. I never played anything like it. It started my love for Tekken. It's pretty complex. They didn't have walls back then, but they still had three-dimensional space. It had a Tekken Force with like if you've ever heard of the chicken with Tekken, that's where it comes from. But it's the thing that started my love for fighting games. I actually played Street Fighter 2 after this, so it's probably why I prefer Tekken. I've always preferred Tekken over Street Fighter. Just got exposed to it first, but it's a really great game. Loved it ever since. Fallout 3 is the first Fallout game I played. I really wanted to play it. I thought its advertisements were pretty cool. I actually never completed the game, or at least the DLC in the game, until last year, actually. We did our full Fallout 3 playthrough last year. It took me like 30 days to do it, where I finally went through and I did the third. There's 5 DLCs in the game. I never played the third one and beyond because I was so pissed off at the state of the second DLC when it came out. The Pit, it was unplayable for like 2 weeks. You couldn't play it back then, and I was so annoyed. And Operation Anchorage wasn't really that long. It didn't really feel like it was worth getting to me back then. I appreciate it now, but I didn't appreciate it back then. So despite all that, though, I did like 3 playthroughs of this game on the Xbox 360, like all the Karma Paths. I think it has the best DJ with Three Dog. The atmosphere I thought was pretty cool. I actually lived in that area at that time as well. So I was actually able to see like input like ideas to where they were trying to go with the area and the tunnels. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. That's not supposed to be there. I actually got a similar experience with Watch Dogs as well because I lived in Chicago and Watch Dogs takes place in Chicago, so it was actually kind of cool to like roam the city and see how they changed it. But I just think Fallout 3 is so cool. Its atmosphere, the Capital Wasteland, its characters, the whole Enclave radio, everything about it. I just think it's really cool. We replayed it last year and I still think it's great. I thought it was fantastic. Never really gave New Vegas that much of a try, but I should probably see if it challenges my opinion. I don't know. Batman Arkham City, I think, is the best out of the Arkham franchise. I know some people like Asylum or Knight or Origins more. I felt like this was perfection with Batman Arkham City. I've 100%ed the achievements of this game twice on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. I couldn't say more about this game. I'm a huge Batman fan, so I thought it was really fantastic. They made the combat so much better in this game compared to Asylum. Asylum's combat can drop a lot, so they made it a lot more fluid in this game. I thought it was just the definition of an amazing sequel, where usually the second game is like the best game out of a series. I thought this was Batman Arkham City. I often have a hard time finding bad things to say about it, other than it did corrupt a lot of people's save files, which did suck, but I've never had a bad experience with the game. I thought it was an amazing game. I didn't like Night it nowhere near as much as this game. And we replayed this series not that long ago, too. I think it was either 2022 or 2021. We went through all 4 of the Batman games. It held up to me. I thought it was amazing. Still to this day. I would love to see them try to make another one, but who knows. Yakuza 0, we actually played this back in 2018. It was my first exposure to the Yakuza franchise. I didn't really have much time with the PlayStation 2, so I actually missed out on a lot of PlayStation 2 games. Like Metal Gear Solid 2 actually. I didn't play it when it came out. I didn't play it until I got an Xbox, and I played that version of the game. I missed out on Yakuza. We played Yakuza 0. It's up there in my top 3 of my favorite games I have ever streamed. It was an amazing time, eye-opening experience to me. I was like, what the fuck? How did I miss this? I have never laughed so much while playing a game. It was ridiculous. So I went through and played all the mainline games. I'm actually trying to chase down the original PlayStation games and play those too as well, because they remade 1 and 2. But to me, it's still the best Yakuza game. This is technically the 6th Yakuza game if we want to go by mainline games. It comes out after Yakuza 5, but oh my god, it's just so freaking good of a video game. Sadly, there hasn't been one that's been as enjoyable to me since. No Ishin, no Judgment. No, I actually have never been interested really in playing Judgment. I wasn't interested in it. It's just the different cast was an immediate turnoff for me. Like without even taking time to actually get to know them, it was just a different cast, and it didn't interest me. So for the longest time, I never even wanted to play them. I'm really only going to play them because it was a subathon incentive. If it wasn't, I probably wouldn't play them. Ishin, I won't lie, I will say streaming has influenced me on not playing that game, because that game died so fast, so quick on Twitch, and I heard it's like insanely long, that it's one of the reasons I've been shying away from it, even though it's stupid. But it's stuff I think about. I definitely should play it though, because I've always wanted to. I was one of the people asking for that game, that and the other Kanzai, to be remade, so I should give it the time of the day, but in the future. Final Fantasy VIII, this is not my first Final Fantasy game, this is actually my second. I played Final Fantasy VI first, and I didn't like it. Crucify me later. So I went and played Final Fantasy VIII, and I actually liked it. I know people hate this game. It's one of the black sheeps, up there with 12 and what's the other black sheep? 13. It's trying to do something different with the inventory system and all that stuff. Don't get me wrong, drawing is fucking boring. It's stupid. It's bad design. No one wants to sit there and soak up monsters for a sponge for 5 minutes just to get all the spells. And then some people would be like, well, play the card game. It's like they have to know that first. So I do think that part of the game is pretty bad design. But I just always like the game. The press R1 when you're attacking with Squall or Cypher when you play as them. I thought that was actually really fun and engaging. It reminds me of the perfect parry system that goes on to become in Yakuza 7. I thought that was very engaging, like compared to the other games in the franchise at that time, like 7 and 9. It's something small, but I find it equally as enjoying pulling off the perfect parries in Yakuza 7 and Infinite Wealth. I find that incredibly satisfying. So when you did it with Squall in this game too, I thought it was satisfying as well. And then I also like the interactive limit breaks. Like Zell's limit break, being able to do as much fucking damage with it by mashing circle X, back forward, circle X, back forward, circle X, back forward. I would sit there and have so much fun trying to get as many of those inputs out over and over and over and over and over again. So, like the way you can engage with the limit breaks and stuff that in the game, I always thought it was great. I thought it was really cool. Just like every Final Fantasy, I like the music. I won't lie, the story is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It ain't my favorite story, but it still has been, like, gameplay wise for the older games. It was always kind of my favorite one. And it does have a lot of set pieces that I enjoy in the overworld music and all that stuff. So I've always enjoyed it. 10 has always been like the contender with this one for this spot, really. It's always back and forth, to be honest, but I'm a big fan of 10 too. I have probably 100% at 10 more than any other Final Fantasy game I have ever played. I think I've done it at least like 7 times, where I go and fight like penance and all that stuff. So it's always 10 should probably be here, but it was probably Tuesday that day in Final Fantasy VIII 1. But they could really be interchangeable for me. I don't think any other Final Fantasy outside 11 really comes close. I'd have to really sit down and break. I actually have a Final Fantasy tier list too. I can bring that up after this if you want to look at it. I'll say from 7 to 8, going from Eco Terrorists to Child Soldiers was insane. Yeah, I know, right? Like, they were doing some... And then people give 9 shit because they're like, oh, look at these chibi motherfuckers. I'm like, Stop. Like, stop picking on them. But no, it is kind of crazy. Like, they're literally taking kids and turning them into freaking soldiers that die. And in that world, it's just like, okay, it's okay. But like I said, draw sucks. Draw sucks. It's not that good. We need a separate tier list, story and story list and games list. Stories list. You know, that'd be interesting, yeah. Nioh 2, to probably nobody's surprise, I'm fully excited for Nioh 3, but I'm a big fan of the Nioh franchise. I will almost always be. I will advocate to everybody that it is okay to be inspired by Dark Souls and not be Dark Souls, and people can be different. Don't get me wrong, Lies of P, which is heavily trying to be like Souls and not deviate from the formula too well. I like that too, right? I think that's good, but I heckin' love Nioh so much that I like it more than Dark Souls now. As you can tell with like Monster Hunter, the games that you have to like be in the menu a lot and stuff like that, they tend to put people off, really. It's a lot of menuing. Like, if you want to perfect your build in Monster Hunter, you're actually kind of spending less time fighting monsters and more time thinking, really. Nioh 2's the same way. You're spending most of your time organizing your gear and trying to come up with a build. I found that to be incredibly satisfying, to be honest. In the same way I find it satisfying creating the thing I showed earlier for Monster Hunter. To me, it's kind of the same idea. For me, I get extra enjoyment out of these games. Like, I feel like I'm engaging with the game even more. I'm having a, like, outside the game experience engaging with the game while I'm not even playing the game by making like stuff for it. Nioh is one of those games for me where like set building in this game gets insane, and it has to, because New Game Plus difficulty is fucking ludicrous. Once you get to like New Game Plus 3, it gets insanely difficult. But it's just so satisfying. I find the combat and everything about it is so satisfying. The lore, I think, is pretty cool, the way they showcase enemies. For you to like read about their lore too, like you can learn about Japanese culture that way as well, like the old folklore stories. So like when we went to go play Monster Hunter Rise, when that was coming out, after I played Nioh 2, I was able to actually identify the folklores in the monsters because of this game. I went and I read all the descriptions from the monsters in this game, and I was like, oh hey, that's that. I wouldn't have been able to do that before. So I appreciate it for that, because you can kind of learn with this game too. I appreciate learning as well, but I think it's a very good game. I will acknowledge at the same time though, it's inspired by a format that there's a lot of people that don't want to have an open mind with that stuff, and that's okay. You don't have to. But I think it doesn't get enough praise. I feel like it deserves more than it got, but hey, people are entitled to their own opinions. Halo Reach, favorite Halo game. We just recently went through the Halo marathon this year. I would still say it's my favorite Halo game still. I like stories where I like doom and gloom stories. I get tired of everybody lives stories. So I already knew what the story was going to be about, because if you didn't know, this is actually a book turned into a game. So if you read the book, you already know what's going to happen. But going through it, I think the presentation of the game is actually fantastic. I think everyone was there was a lot of hatred for this game because Master Chief isn't in it. And I'm like, do you have to have him in it to have a good Halo game? No. This and ODST kind of proves that. I always thought that was kind of shallow at best. This game to me just has great set pieces. Great set pieces, great moments. Literally what fucking sucks, dude. Literally one decision in the very beginning of the game at the very first moment when Carter tells Emil to not go after the Zealots, he is literally killing his team. Because that Zealot goes, he tells the information to his higher-ups, and then they all come to the planet. If Carter would have told Emil to chase after him and kill them, most likely would have never happened. That shit like that, when you find that stuff out, is like, damn, that fucking sucks. And there's a lot of that in this game too. That's kind of hidden, really. I played this for like 2,000 hours online. It was my most played Halo game. At that time, it was Halo 2. I didn't really play much Halo 3, but I ended up playing Halo Reach online for a really long time. I quite enjoyed it. I remember I was begging my friends to play with me at one point. They didn't want to. They were playing other stuff, and I was like, "Hey, come on, let's go do doubles." I forget what it was called, but I had an amazing time with that game. Yeah, this came out after ODST. Yeah, in 2010. This was the last Bungie game, and people were still. Yeah, this got the hatred more for not having Master Chief than ODST did, because ODST at least took place in the city that was in Halo 2. During that same time, and it had ODST members, right? And you saw them in like throughout like Halo 1 through like Halo 2 through 3. So people kind of were more lenient with that one. They gave this one more shit for that. Dino Crisis 3 or 2? 3. Oh god, crucify me. Dino Crisis 2, I like it more than 1. 1 is more like Resident Evil, which is okay. But I like 2 because 2 I feel is where the game actually finds its own identity and is not as much as a copycat. Don't get me wrong, I got nothing bad to say about Dino Crisis 1 either. I think it's fine. But I really like the action style that they try to go for in Dino Crisis 2. And unfortunately, you just don't really see that many games like this anymore. A product of its time, really. And it's actually one of the rarest PlayStation 1 games to find physically. So it's really expensive to get a physical copy of this. So it's great. It's nice that it's on GOG and also on like the PS3 store if you have a PS3. Other than that, you're paying like $100, $200 for this game. I really like it. Like I like Dylan, I like Regina, I like David, who's in the game. The dinosaurs that you fight are all pretty fun to fight against, I think. It has amazing set pieces. There's like a great one really at the very end of the game I thought was cool. This is the one that has a lot of mini games. So like there's like you have to shoot the heads of the Allosaurus as they're coming out of the water with the machine gun on the boat. You have to shoot the T-Rex with the tank. And then you're playing like tag with Regina, going back and forth. There's the one where the Triceratops is trying to destroy your Jeep, and you got to prevent him from. It just has really great set pieces, I always thought. It's a shame that 3 has absolutely nothing to do with this game. But apparently Dino Stalker does, and that's another game I'm trying to get for the PS2, because apparently it's supposed to elaborate on what happens. But I was always hoping that we'd get a sequel for this. I'm one of the copium people that would hope that Capcom would revisit this game in the future. I have always said that if they could somehow make hunters work in Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I feel like they did. I feel like it works really well, right? Because a hunter is supposed to be able to run faster than you, and it does. Just like how a raptor is. I said if they could make the hunters work in Resident Evil 3 Remake, they could use that as a way to try to make the raptors work, because raptors are like the common enemy in Dino Crisis. So they did. So hopefully there's some copium out there that will see something. Hopefully Onimusha doing well will indirectly make Dino Crisis come back, because Capcom's starting to bring back old franchises one by one, it seems. So hopefully the new Onimusha game does well, and that will bode well for Mega Man and Dino Crisis, because those games haven't seen entries in their series in forever. And it's not like this game didn't sell well, too. It didn't sell as well as the first game, but they still sold over 1 million. Metal Gear Solid 2 is probably the one I've probably played the most, to be honest, because it's the one that has some of the most content in it. I think this is Kojima's masterpiece, personally. To me, the story in this game, I think, is fantastic. And I think it's still relevant to the day. The ending sequence with the AI stuff and that 15-minute cutscene where they're talking about society and all that stuff, timeless. It is on full blast nowadays. I think he was cooking back in 2001 when he released this game. It's still true. I think it's an amazing game though. It has great set pieces. The characters are great. I do think they kind of shaft Solidus a little bit in this game compared to, say, like Liquid. They obviously care about him a lot more. Dead Cell is not as interesting as like Foxhound Unit or some others, but the Cobras. But I don't really care about the whole Raiden stuff, and like everyone hates Rose in this game. I think it plays into Raiden like really well, especially when you learn like what the hell happens in this game with him and everything. Again, I just think it's just really good. It's a very fun game to play. It has great boss fights, great moments. A lot of nice sequences. It does have a lot more back and forth than I would like to have. Like you have to constantly go back to like the warehouse to get a gun or something. But I've always had a great time, and it's challenging too. Playing it on European Extreme is not easy. Like I saw some people trying to play this on European Extreme. It's not too bad for me because I've done it many times now. but it is far from easy. It's especially with the way the controls are. So people that like sign up for that stuff and do that stuff, they're asking like they're putting themselves into a blender. Like European Extreme Fat Man is annoying as fuck. He could be pretty brutal. So Birth by Sleep is the PSP Kingdom Hearts game. It is a prequel to Kingdom Hearts 1, but it came out afterwards. So you don't play as Sora, no Riku, no Kairi, no Donald, no Goofy. You got Terra, Aqua, and Ventus. And I just love this cast of characters in this. Aqua is great. Terra is great. Ventus, probably for me the weakest of the three in terms of I enjoy them, but 3 different campaigns for you to play, 3 different final bosses for you to play, secret boss fights, ultimate boss fights, fighting arena. They established the main series bad guy in this game that ultimately, colludes in Kingdom Hearts 3, but it's just the same reason I like Halo Reach. It's a sad story, man. It is. It ain't going well for them in this game. And if you play other games, right, you get little tidbits of what happened and stuff like that, and then you play this game and you're like, holy shit. Gameplay wise, it's pretty fun too. Its combat is pretty nice. It arguably has probably the hardest secret boss in the entire franchise. He's ridiculous, like borderline unfair. I think he's just called Unknown, or something. I can't remember. But I think it's really great. It's easily my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. And it was just so nice. The theme of the game to me, it was just so nice. You can easily go back to it and play it over and over again. AI and Somnium Files, I already went over kind of a little bit. It's the director from Zero Escape franchise. We actually just played the Escape game. It's not really like a full experience of the game, really. The one we just played, it was more like a side game. The first and the second game are murder mystery games. There's murders going on, and you have to try to figure out who the killer is, and you're trying to get clues. You're chasing leads. People are dying. You're trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And oftentimes your friends end up dying or something happens. And it's just wacky as shit, despite how goofy and stupid it tries to be. I think in the first game it's called the Cyclops Killer. Like, you constantly find people and their eyeballs are missing. And you're like, what the fuck is going on with this? Really appreciate the whole murder mystery aspect of it and trying to find all the characters. And the dumb humor, I find it enjoyable. But it's just really nice. These games I think they take me like a week to stream. And just spending time with them and trying to figure out what's going on and stuff like that. I really enjoy it. It's very enjoyable. I guess Danganronpa would be the same extent, but we'll get there. God of War 3. Testosterone the game. To me, this is peak God of War. Like, I know some people like 2018 and Ragnarok. It seems like some people don't like Ragnarok as much as 2018, but to me, God of War 3 is chef's kiss. Like, it is amazing. Talk about it all. I play the opening video for it like every now and then because it's so fucking cool. Before the twilight with the age, and he sat about the throne, Kratos. Like when Gaia's like, and he will have his revenge. Like, you play the first 2 games, you see how this dude is fucked over. Oh man, they just go ham in this game with his fights. The music, the encounters, the fight he has with Hercules in this game is amazing. The way it ends, insane. It's just crazy. I wasn't that much of a God of War 2 fan, admittedly, not really. So this game, but I did like the way God of War 2 ended. It literally ends and this game begins. And it was well worth the wait, I think. I don't think, for me, there will be another God of War game that tops this because it's a different style of a game now. But it's a shame that some people do not want to go back in time and play these old games. Like, they don't take that long to play at all. Like, I think I have the time for when I played them on the hardest difficulty. Man, someone, writing off God of War 3 is such a shame. It is such a good video game. Mortal Kombat Deceptions. Me and Ray actually used to play this game online all the time. Mortal Kombat Deceptions it was the first one that had online. They had traditional, 2D fighting or 3D fighting. Actually, it was actually the three-dimensional Mortal Kombat's at the time, believe it or not, like Tekken. But this game has so much fucking content. I think everybody had 2 fatalities. I think I could be misremembering, but I think they did. They had Puzzle Fighter, which was like, or Puzzle Combat, which was like a super puzzle fighter for Street Fighter. They had chess combat where you could literally play chess against someone else, and then if you could like when you're claiming his piece, you can actually fight, and the person who's supposed to lose will have less health. Like they're not supposed to win, but they could beat you. It was pretty cool. They had conquest mode in this game where you play as Shinjuku, original character that predates even Mortal Kombat 1, and with his journey with Onaga, and he goes and he meets all these Mortal Kombat characters, and you level them up and he gained abilities and stuff like that. It was just cool. I thought the game was great. I didn't have the big hate boner for the three-dimensional characters. A lot of people didn't like the three-dimensional character, like Hoosh Hao, who had a giant laser beam come out of his chest, or Cobra, Kira, Morvado, Niteria, Havoc. A lot of these characters people just did not like at the time. But I always thought Unaga the Dragon King was pretty sick. The opening, the Mortal Kombat Deceptions, is sick. It's like one of the coolest openings they've made for MK, I think, to this day still, where they have Shang Tsung and Quan Chi team up to take on Unaga. And then they get their ass beat, and they got to side with Raiden, and then they still get their ass beat. Like, Unaga is just the man. It makes Shao Kahn look like a baby. So, it was really cool. There's just a lot of content in this game. I actually want to play it on stream, to be honest, and relive the Conquest mode. It probably plays like dog shit now, but it was very fun at the time. Kingdom Hearts 1 is the first Kingdom Hearts game I played. It was actually one of the last PlayStation 2 games I played. And I have always liked it. I played it to completion, luckily, before I didn't have access to a PlayStation 2 anymore. And, people joke about it being all cutie and cute kids and all that jazz. But I always liked the game. I thought it was a solid, like, action game or action RPG game. I thought they did pretty good. Like, all their boss fights were pretty fun. The Gecko and the Tarzan level on the hardest difficulty fucking sucks, though. Proud mode. But I thought they did a job well done incorporating the IPs. I thought was really cool. I'm not, as you know, like I don't really pay attention to that many movies, so I didn't know that many other IPs actually. So I learned a lot through this game. I thought it was really neat. I just always enjoyed it, really. I had a fun time playing it. The boss fights against like Sephiroth and all that in this game were pretty fun. The tournament fights were pretty fun against like the enemies from Hercules were pretty cool. And I just thought it was a solid game. I've always enjoyed it. And then when I got a PS3, they started releasing like the 1.5 and the 2.5 collections that had this, but it was the Japanese version that had the extra content, and you can actually fight Ansem before you even know Xemnas before you even know who he is. I went back and I replayed in 100% of the game again, and I was like, man, this game is solid as hell. It's still great. The combat systems in this game are mostly fair too. There's not a whole lot of bullshit, really. It's programmed in a way for you to be able to beat it, but there's also like built-in counters. Like for instance, like bosses can only take so many hits until they will counter you and stuff like that. So if you learn like what it is, you can trivialize bosses in this game by just simply playing a game and learning. I always appreciated that, and it's like that in all of them for the most part. Kingdom Hearts 3 to a lesser extent, but like there is a reason why some people say like Cage 2 or Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of the best action RPGs Square's probably ever made. I already kind of talked about 999. It's just a precursor to Virtue's Last Reward. I think Virtue Last Reward's story is a little bit more compelling than 999, but 999 gets the ball rolling where the series starts, and I still think it's very interesting. It had me on my toes of trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I couldn't get it. I was getting stumped by the escape room puzzles. It made me feel stupid, but I loved every minute of it. It was, I wasn't the only one. Lumi will talk about it every now and then, but this was the game that I was playing that me and chat could not figure out puzzles for like hours on end. They were just so convoluted, more than what it was in AI and Somnium Files we played recently. Their puzzles are like on steroids. But it was great. Like trying to decipher it, it was great. And then trying to decipher the mystery of what the hell was going on was also pretty great too, I would think. So I really appreciated this game. Danganronpa for the sake, I would say Danganronpa, it's more or less the same. Danganronpa is people are dying and you're trying to figure out who the fuck is killing all these people. They're stuck in a school. Someone dies and you're trying to figure out who killed the person. You get to know much more immediately than in these other games, but its art style is really cool. I've always appreciated Danganronpa's art style. It's actually one of my favorites in any game that I've ever played before. Its music is really nice. Yeah, the strawberry milk. Yeah, it was like purple or something. Yeah, they like changed it to like pink or something. I always appreciate the aesthetic of this game too. Love Monokuma and the music and the atmosphere of the game, being locked inside of the school with all these people, and you have to like just figure out, like, go to the crime scene, investigate the crime scene, interview people, then go to trial, and then try to figure out who's lying and who isn't lying, and then zero in and figure out who's lying. I always thought it was pretty cool. We ended up playing all 3 of the games. I don't really think the other 2 games were as special as the first game was for me. The second game I think is very good, but I just really enjoyed the experience. It's a shame that they don't kind of make another experience like this again, unfortunately. They've been having a hard time. Metal Gear Solid 1, I mean, I don't know what I can say from the other one. I mean, Kojima was cooking. Obviously, the controls for this game have aged the worst over these other 2, but he was cooking on the PlayStation 1. The game that I would say, would probably make people take video games much more serious, really. Like, you know, he's trying to tell like an actual story because he came from movie land. There's a lot of fun things to do with the game, with Psycho Mantis and your memory card and the controller back in the day that people just didn't think about incorporating into their games. The characters are great. You know, Solid Snake, Liquid, Vulcan Raven. All their set pieces are great. Decoy Octopus's stuff is great when you figure out what's going on. Donald Anderson, Kenneth Baker. I always like making fun of Kenneth Baker. I say a lot of lines from this game all the time. Looks like you read them wrong. I say that all the time. That's from Metal Gear Solid 1 when the Ocelot's talking to Liquid about how he thought the Americans were going to negotiate and he doesn't. Or the line with Ocelot's battle. There's just so many amazing moments in this game. Like it's very good. The only reason it's lower on the list is because it is the hardest one to play out of these 3. And I just kind of don't enjoy it as much as the other 2, I would say, even though I think it's very good. But still, like I said, he is cooking, man. He was on something. Yeah. Have you checked the back of the CD case? It just had some wonky shit that people weren't doing in games at the time. Like he was doing some off the wall stuff like that. I feel like definitely should deserve the praise that he got for it. And I replayed these games to death, man. Like they're not that long, but they're just fun. It's fun. And I think the story that he ultimately is trying to tell overall throughout all his games, I think is pretty good. Dead or Alive 2, the 3rd fighting game on the list, actually. I will always be a Dead or Alive stan as well. Like I said with Nioh 2, I will always fight against the propaganda that this game is a titty game only and you are a goomer for liking this series. You probably are, but it's still a pretty solid fighting game. Easily, hands down, the best stage transitions of any fighting game series that was created. Guilty Gear probably gets pretty close. Tekken has started incorporating transitions like Dead or Alive was doing, but the difference is Dead or Alive was doing that shit back in the 90s, man. Their stage transitions have been like sick. You can punch some dude and he'll fall down the stairs. And he'll take damage as he's falling down the stairs and shit. It's just wacky. Their level designs is just wacky. The Evil Arena in Tekken 8 is heavily inspired by the explosive stage in Dead or Alive 2. It's a fun game to play. The counter system on all everybody can counter everybody. There is no I have a parry, you don't have a parry. That don't exist. Everybody can parry in this game. So you got to be on lock in this game. You can parry mids, highs, lows. You got different combo parry routes for those as well. It's a pretty in-depth game. This is an archetype game too, so like it got like people that play like ninjas. The third game has like a drunken master, Brad Wong. They have Jet Li and Bruce Lee in this game, right? They have their archetypes. They got Bayman, like heavy hitting, like some Russian was it Sambo guys. It's just you get and you feel the impact of the moves in this game. Like it's like, God damn, that fucking hurts. And it going as far as back as Dead or Alive 2. This is the second game in the franchise, and they were just doing great shit with this series. It's so unfortunate that with change of leadership after Dead or Alive 4, that these games have been plagued with microtransactions, which ultimately I honestly will say that I will forgive them on that stuff because yes, having $3,000 worth of microtransactions is completely bullshit, but you absolutely do not need to buy none of that garbage. Most of that shit is costumes. Like 99% of it is costumes. The characters are probably overpriced. That is probably the biggest problem with it. But the key problem that gets kind of buried is the fact that the Gate 5 and 6 were just missing basic features. The same way that Mortal Kombat 1 was missing online lobbies. Dead or Alive 6 did not have online lobbies. It's just that stuff kind of is like, what the fuck? Right? Like when you have microtransactions galore in your game, but you don't have basic ass fighting game lobbies, that it just amplifies those problems more. So it really sucks the way that 5 and 6 is going. Hopefully if they ever make another game, which their other games are doing pretty okay. So hopefully if they ever make another game, they kind of learn from these mistakes because it's a good franchise. It is. It also sucks that people are very wish-washy with this franchise too. They love to write off Dead or Alive as a titty game. And like I said, don't get me wrong. The guy who created this game, that was absolutely what he was doing. He was going full in on jiggle physics, and he did not give two fucks. Even with that said, it's a solid-ass fighting game. But when it came to fighting game tournaments, people have always talked down to the series, which sucks. Which is why I say I'll always be a stand for it, because it is solid combat in this game. So much so that you just don't ever see it represented. Like, even when the games were out at the time, you barely ever saw them represented in like fighting game tournaments and stuff like that. People just always talk down to it, even though you had other franchises doing similar shit. Like, bro, SNK has had Angel in their games for eons. Mai in Street Fighter 6, everybody knows what she's doing there, or what she's doing in the game. Even Mai tells you that you're looking at her. So like, I don't get why they pick on DOA for this. But they definitely do, and it's unfair. Yeah, I can't stand it. It's a very good game, though. If you ever get a chance to play it, especially this one. This, 3, and I think 4 are all solid. Yeah. Shimiro's leaving Bandai Namco. Bad news, the guy who did DOA that has been with Bandai just resigned. Oh, really? That sucks. I wonder if he's going to go back to them, though. I wonder why he resigned. I mean, Tekken 8 isn't getting the most positive press. But I don't think anything if he was working, I know they had a guy from Dead or Alive that was working on the stages at Tekken 8, but I don't think any of that stuff is problematic in the game, really. We have Ninja Gaiden 2. I've never played the Sigma games. Those are the PS3 versions of this game. I never played it, so my experience is based off the original Xbox 360 game. In Ninja Gaiden 2, you get 14 weapons. And you probably can tell I like the Falcon Talons the most because they're the closest to hand-to-hand you get in the game. This is at a time where this kind of style of game was like, we're going to make our game hard and punishing and unforgiving, and if you want to play it, that's great. If you want to play it and suck at it and complain, too bad. This game is brutal. It is not for the faint of heart. It is hard. It is pretty, even on its easiest difficulty, it's pretty rough. The camera sucks, but I like those kind of style games. So it has a lot of great action. Like I said, it has 14 different weapons that all have different unlock combos, and they're not shallow. The boss fights are pretty fun. It has bogus ass hitboxes and shit like that, and crazy stuff. But as a action game, it is frantic. It is ridiculous. Like, you can cut off dudes' arms in this game, dismemberment, and they will still fucking come at you. And then, in fact, they are worse. If you cut off their arm, they are guaranteed, if you get close enough to them and you let them grab you, they will kamikaze your ass. They will, if you cut their legs off, they will crawl on the floor at you. If you cut their arm off, they will approach you with one arm. This shit is insane for a game designed on the Xbox 360. Its dismemberment system is ridiculous. The aggressiveness of the enemy is ridiculous. How many enemies are coming at you? They had to nerf for the PS3 version because the PS3 couldn't handle it. It's just a very good game. I always appreciated this game. It's hard as fuck. You really don't see video games like this anymore. Not really, because they don't want to make games like this anymore, because they don't sell well, because they don't have enough padding for people to get through the games. So with the high volatility of the video game market nowadays, we really don't see games like this anymore. But I have always had a soft spot for this game. It's very fun. I just kind of appreciate this kind of bullshit difficulty, you know? To round it out, the very last game is Sonic Adventure 2. You might not know, but because I don't really play the games on stream, really, but I'm actually a big Sonic fan. I have collected most of his video games, believe it or not. It was one of the driving factors for me getting the Xbox Series X, actually, because I had a lot of digital games from the 360, and most of them were Sonic. Ninja Gaiden 2 was actually another reason. Sonic Adventure 2, it came out on the Dreamcast. I actually didn't play it until the GameCube. It was called Sonic Adventure 2 Battles at that time. I feel like to appreciate 2, you have to play 1, just so that you get to see how more advanced 2 is over 1, and like how much of a great sequel it is. This is the game that introduces Shadow. No real reason like for me to like it. I'm just saying that's what it is. But you get to play as Sonic, you get to play as Shadow, you get to play as Rouge the Cat, you get to play as Knuckles, you get to play as Dr. Robotnik, you get to play as Tails in this game. They all have their different, well, Tails and Robotnik play the same, Knuckles and Rouge play the same, and Shadow and Sonic play the same for the most part. So you get 3 different styles of playing the game, which is pretty cool. I always appreciated. I thought the story was pretty cool. The boss team-ups I thought were cool. The music in this game is insanely good. From the Knuckles, the various Knuckles themes, from Pumpkin Hill to Meteor Herd, they are so great. I think it's called like Green or White Jungle for Sonic or something like that. I can't remember. But it has insanely good music. And then it also has the Chow Garden, which you get these little orbs when you defeat enemies in the levels, and you can bring them back to the Chow Garden, and you can give them to your Chow, which is like a little baby pretty much, and you can level your Chow up, and then you can go take your Chow and go use it in mini games in the Chow Garden. You can easily spend more time in the Chow Garden than you actually do playing the main game. You got like Chow Karate, Chow Racing, all kinds of shit. Trying to you can evolve them. They evolve. They'll like become eggs and shit. It's ridiculous. It was addicting. I won't lie. They even had in the GameCube, because like the little center part of the GameCube controller, you could take it out, and you can actually level up your Chow on that thing, and then put it back into your controller, and it will carry over into the game, which was pretty cool. You don't really see that much anymore. I think the last time we saw something like that was like the Wii U, really. But it was Sonic Adventure 2 is so cool. Like I say, you have to play Sonic Adventure 1 to really like appreciate 2, because 1, it was good, but then 2 just knocks it out the park. I think it's like one of the best Sonic games that was ever made. Like they did Sonic 06 after this. Not directly after this, but like that was the next, I think, 3D game after this, and they had like Shadow the Hedgehog. They just, for the longest time, could not replicate the success of this game. Like, they tried so hard, and they were failing, like, everywhere. But it's a very fun game, I think. And that is the entire list. That took way longer than I thought it was. Oh, well. I hope you enjoyed it. Not including Rumble Roses on this. I can't really, I mean, there's some other games that I could put up on here, but like I said, like Final Fantasy X would be sitting on like outside of this, right? But these are all, I very much enjoy all of these. Like Could easily play these over and over again. And it is a lot of threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's so many. Yeah.
So dance while I put you in a trance.